All right, what we're talking about today is being able to calculate simple probabilities. And so probability is just the chance that an event is going to happen. And for probability, what it is it's what you want over total. So what are you wanting to find the probability out of total chances? Some common examples that you'll have is if you flip a coin. Flipping a coin, if I want the probability of a head, and that's what it looks like when I have a capital P. Well, on a coin, there's one head, and there's two options. It's heads or tails, so the probability of flipping a head on a coin is 1/2. Another common one you have is a dice, or one dice. And let's say I want the probability of rolling a 2. Well, on a dice, these are all my options. I have the numbers 1 through 6, and I have 1, 2. So there's one chance of getting a 2 out of 6 total. And so probability is what you want over total. Now there's two different types of probability. There is theoretical probability and experimental probability. Theoretical probability is what should happen, theoretically what should happen. So if I roll a dice, my probability of getting a 2 is 1/6. Now sometimes what happens is we actually flip a coin. So let's say I flip a coin and I get a heads, then I get another heads, then I get a tails, and another heads. For this problem, my probability of getting a heads is I got 3 of them out of the total of 4 flips. So my experimental probability is 3 out of 4. But here, we learned that it should have been 1 out of 2 because there's one head and there's 2 options. So theoretical is what should happen, but experimental is what actually happens. Okay, and so really you're just going to be able to identify the difference between them. When we play greedy pig in class sometimes, we get ones right back after each other, and you shouldn't do that. We have a 1 in 6 chance of getting a 1. And so sometimes experimental is the same as theoretical, but sometimes it's not. All right, so let's look at our first example. Mr. McDonald had a farm. He has 5 horses, 3 pigs, 14 chickens, and 3 cows. Find each probability. The first thing I need to do is I need to know how many total animals he has. So I'm going to add up my 5 plus 3 gives me 8, plus 14 is 22, plus 3 is 25. So he has 25 total animals. Now remember, probability is what you want over total options. And so my denominator for these problems are going to be the 25 because my total number of options is 25. All right, so the probability of a pig, I want a pig out of my total animals. Well, it says there are 3 pigs out of 25 animals, and so that's my answer. If you'd like to change it into a decimal or a percent, you can, but you can just leave it as a fraction. Leaving it as a fraction, though, I do ask that you reduce them. All right, for number 2, the probability of getting a chicken. Well, there are 14 chickens out of a total of 25 animals, and that can't be reduced because there's not a number that goes into 14 and 25, so we're done with that one. Number 3, the probability of an animal having 4 legs. Well, horses have 4 legs, so do pigs, and so do cows. Chickens don't have 4 legs, so I have my 5 horses, my 3 pigs, and my 3 cows. So together, I have 11 animals that have 4 legs out of my total of 25. All right, sometimes what you're going to have is you'll have spinner problems. And so if you notice there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's a total of 6 sections. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to try 4, 5, and 6, knowing that there's 6 sections, and calculate the probability of each. When you think you have it, press play so you can check your answers. All right, so for number 4, you should have said baseball hat. Well, there's only one baseball hat out of all of the options, so it's 1 out of 6. Okay, so now let's look at the next one. Keychain. Well, there's 1 keychain, 2 keychains. So there's 2 chances of getting keychains out of the 6 total. So it's 2 out of 6. But we need to reduce that by dividing the top and bottom by 2, because 2 goes into both, and so it's 1/3. And then the last one, the no prize one. No, I'm just going to erase that so we can see it. For no prize, I got 1 spot here, 2 spots, 3 spots. So for no prize, you have 3 chances to not win a prize out of the total 6, which is 1/2. The next thing that you need to be familiar with is cards. Cards are supposed to be common knowledge, and you're supposed to recognize that there's 52 cards in a deck. The different suits are clubs, diamonds, hearts, and spades. And then you should know what the different types of each one are. One thing that might be helpful is knowing that there's 13 clubs, 13 diamonds, 13 hearts, and 13 spades. You all have a picture of this. If not, we can get you another one. So if you don't remember what cards are, you can look at this picture. So again, there's 52 cards total. So my total will always start off by being out of 52. So for what's the probability of getting a club? That means I can get any one of these clubs up here on this top row. And so clubs, there's 13 clubs out of my total cards, which is 52. And we can reduce this by dividing by 13. And so I get 1/4. Okay, when we look here, the red cards, well, red cards are diamonds and hearts. So if there's 13 sets of diamonds and 13 hearts, then that's 26 red cards over the total 52, which reduces to 1/2. And you might have even been able to see this right at the beginning without doing 26 over 52, because you know the cards are either red and black. So half of them have to be red. The next one, the probability of getting a king. Okay, so here's my kings. So I have 4 kings in the deck. So it's 4 out of 52. And if I divide by 4, I get 1 out of 13. Okay, last one. Probability of getting a 6 of hearts. So a 6 of hearts, let me change color so we can see. A 6 of hearts is right here. And I only have 1 6 of hearts in my whole deck. So it's 1 out of 52. So when you're doing probability, remember it's what you want out of total. And if you have a fraction you can reduce, you need to go ahead and reduce it.